In today's video, I'm going to share with you the 22 companies that paid us a dividend in the month of March. And spoiler alert, it was definitely our best month ever. The first company to pay us was Intel, and they paid us a total of $38.24. And this is the last time that you will see this because I did sell out of my position of Intel. Next, we received $5.82 from Pfizer, ticker symbol is PFE. They've got 12 years of dividend growth, 5-year dividend growth rate of 5.51%, payout ratio is only 24.32%, and right now the dividend yield is 4.07%, which brings our first total to $44.06. We presently own just under 60 shares of JEPI, or the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF, which is such a mouthful. I think I say it every time. The dividend growth has been for just 2 years. It's a newer ETF. Annual payout is $6.37 for each share that you own, and it's got a hefty dividend yield of 11.8%. And with that, our monthly total was up to $67.03. We own 9.76 shares of Johnson & Johnson, and they paid us $10.96. They've got 60 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 6.11%, payout ratio of 43.8%, and a dividend yield right now just under 3% at 2.95%. And with that addition, we were up to $77.99. We have a small position in 3M. It's just a little over 7 shares, and they paid us $10.72. The dividend yield right now, pretty hefty, 5.81%. 64 years of dividend growth, 5-year dividend growth rate of 4.09%, and a payout ratio just under 60% at 59.01. And with that additional $10, we're up to $88.71. We currently own just over 13 shares of Chevron, and they paid us $19.04 in the month of March. They have 35 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 5.76%, and a payout ratio that's 30.16%. Dividend yield pretty good at 3.75%. And with that, our total went up to $107.75. A newer addition to the portfolio is Snap-on. The ticker symbol is SNA, and they paid us $1.77 for the 1.74 shares that I own. Again, newer position, still working on adding to that, but I really kind of like the metrics of Snap-on. What do you guys think? 13 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 14.72%, and a payout ratio of 34.94%. The yield, 2.68%, and I believe this is one that's been beating the S&P 500 pretty consistently for total return. And that brought our total up to $109.52. Next up is the Olin Corporation, and the ticker symbol is OLN, and they paid us $11.10 in the month of March. They don't have any dividend growth, and there's no 5-year dividend growth rate listed as a result, but the payout ratio is just under 9%, so they've got some room. Here's hoping. Dividend yield is 1.47%, and in the last year, 3 years, 5 years, and almost in the 10-year range, they are consistently beating the S&P 500 for total return. And with that, our total so far is $120.62. We presently own 97 shares of Realty Income, and gosh, I really should make an effort to get that up to 100, and they paid us $24.49 this month, 26 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 3.78%, and a payout ratio of 207.62%. Check out that dividend yield, 4.89%. And with that, our total dividend income went up to $145.11. Next up, Barings Business Development. It's the last time you're going to see it because I sold out of my position, but they paid us $14.67, which I happily accepted, but they are out of the portfolio. Only 3 years of dividend growth, 5-year dividend growth rate in the negative, and a payout ratio of 84.82%, although it did have a really hefty yield of 12.89%, but that payment still brought me up to $159.78. We presently own 92 shares of Main Street Capital, and they paid us out $36.94 this month. They've got 2 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 2.81%, and a payout ratio just under 79%. Check out that dividend yield, though, 6.85%. And with that payment from Main Street Capital, it brought our total up to $196.72. I had a very small position in Stag Industrials and decided to sell out of it this month. So they paid us that $2.48, and I'm moving on. But for those of you who may still own shares of Stag, they've got 11 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 0.73%, payout ratio is 146%, and they've got a dividend yield of 4.42%. And with that additional $2.48, it brought us up to $199.20. Next up is 77 cents from Hershey because I only own 0.74 of a share. I really need to work to build up my position here, and I will. That is my plan. They've got 13 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 9.16%, payout ratios at 45.47%, and the dividend yield at 1.64%. I'm creeping up on that $200 mark. Brings me up to $199.97. Lockheed Martin, ticker symbol LMT, paid us out $18.29 for the 6 shares that we own. They've got 20 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 8.71%, and the payout ratio is 41.58%. Dividend yield is at 2.54%. And with that, I'm at $218.26. Arbor Realty Trust paid us $30.80 for the 108 shares that we own. They've got 9 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 15.62%, payout ratio of 94.58%, and the dividend yield is 14.45%, bringing our total up to $249.06. Next up is Raytheon Technologies, ticker symbol RTX, and we presently own 12.2 shares, and so they paid us out $6.72 in dividends this month. They've got a yield of 2.26%, 29 years of dividend growth, 5-year dividend growth rate of 4.84%, and a payout ratio of 45.09%. And that total's just creeping higher, and we were up to $255.78. Next up is Home Depot, and they paid us $19.59 for the 9.4 shares that we own. They've got 13 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 16.06%, and a payout ratio of 46.7%. Dividend yield right now is at 2.93%. Our total was $275.37. SCHD, the Schwab U.S. Dividend Equity ETF, probably one of the most talked about ETFs out there. We presently own 77.3 shares, and they paid us $45.50 for those shares. 10 years of dividend growth, 5-year dividend growth rate of 15.56%, and the current dividend yield is 3.65%. And that right there allowed us to break, for the very first time, the $300 mark and brings us to $320.87. I have a small position in the iShares Core High Dividend ETF, which is also known as HDV, and those 6.8 shares paid us out $6.98. Only 1 year dividend growth and a 5-year dividend growth rate of 5.69%, but that dividend yield is just under 4% at 3.96%. And that brought us up to $327.85. While sticking with the ETF theme, we'll talk about DGRO, the iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF. They paid us out $3.22 for the 11 shares that we own. They've got 8 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 10.32%, and the dividend yield right now is 2.44%. And now we're up to $331.07. We presently own 34 shares of T. Rowe Price, and they paid us out $41.19. The dividend yield right now is 4.42%. They've got 36 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 14.87%, and a payout ratio under 60% at 59.93%, bringing us up to $372.26. And for those of you that have been following me for maybe a little bit of time know that with the expensive price tag on Broadcom, I can only buy fractional shares at a time. And I've been seriously adding 1/100th of a share at a time with Broadcom. But I'm up to 0.5. I'm up to a half a share right now. And so I received $2.31 from Broadcom. They've got 11 years of dividend growth, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 25.72%, and the payout ratio is under 44% at 43.96%. Dividend yield, 2.9%. And with that, we have our very best month of dividend income of $374.57. And here's the reason I really wanted to share this with you all. I started in January of 2022 converting some of our investments into dividend producing stocks, and I only received 60 cents back in January of last year. But now this year, you can see the progression kind of month over month, year over year, and I cannot wait to see where this journey brings me. But what I wanted to share with you is that in the last 12 months, I've received $2,147.35 in dividend income. And you guys, if I can do it, so can you. We just got to keep plugging along. In the month, oh good heavens, 4.32% and percent. I said percent. This is going to be rough. Holy smokes. Next time we do this video, maybe I'm making a buck. Please leave me a comment below and then go and take a peek at this video next.